Hey, yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome to a Monday edition of the MoBetta Sports LiveStream. I'm your host, Antonio, aka Mr. MoBetta, and as always, we are going to be talking Texas sports, but today we're going to be switching it up a little bit as well, and we're going to get into a little bit of free agency talk. I know you see the blanket behind me, of course. We just got some good news, or I wouldn't say good news, we just got some good content, I guess. Some details regarding some moves Dallas is making in the offseason. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and talk about Texas taking the series, the opening conference series, over Texas Tech. We took the rubber match yesterday in a very, very close victory, a 9-7 victory, which, to be quite frank with you, was not looking very promising to begin with. Texas Tech, I should say, jumped out to a quick 3-0 lead in the second inning. 2-0 in the first, took another run in the second inning, got up to a 3-0 lead. Texas managed to cut it down to a 3-2 lead before Texas Tech started kind of chipping away. There was a little brawl that ensued with Will Gasparino running into the first baseman for Texas Tech. You know, benches clearing and all that kind of stuff for no reason. It was pretty stupid in my opinion. Dude was standing in the base path and Will Gasparino ran into him. It's his fault. Regardless, get into that little scuffle, and that took about 15 minutes to, die down and figure out. Literally, the next two batters that came up after that scuffle hit 2 home runs. Tanner Witt gave up 3 hits, 3 home runs on the day for himself. Again, I promise you, I'm going to sound like a broken record all season long, and I know it. But it's just, there's nothing that is going to change. Our pitching is simply not good enough. It's really not good at all. Like, if we're just being real, like, take the fanaticism and take being a Texas Longhorns fan away. Our pitching is not good. Our pitching staff right now is not good. Not saying that we don't have good players and we don't have a lot of potential, but the pitching staff at this moment in time is not good, right? Again, we win the game 9-7, win the series, but in every single game in this series, we gave up at least 7 runs. We gave up at least 7 runs all 3 games. That is a recipe for getting beat by good teams, period. Now, I'm not saying that Tech is not a good team. They are a decent team, but you see as well, they cannot close it out. Their pitching staff is decent, not very good. A little bit, I want to say, honestly, their pitching staff was a little bit better than ours in totality. They went on spurts where they were just giving up runs, right? So I guess in that sense you could say they obviously were not better, or they would have won the games that they needed to. Regardless, so it was a good win. Don't get me wrong. We needed the series victory to open up the conference and have a opening conference victory over a top 25 opponent, top 15 opponent like Texas Tech. I think they were actually like 17 or something like that. To have that kind of performance and win 2 out of 3 is really good, coming off of a weekend and a week where we lost 4 games in a row, right? And all of those games minus LSU and A&M, we never had a lead, but Texas State and Vanderbilt both, we blew multiple run leads. Vandy was really bad, an 11-3 lead, and we lose the game 14-11, right? This is all a recipe of, it comes down to, of our pitching staff. We know, and we have seen time and time again, and we've seen over the course of this season, that this Texas Longhorns team can hit the ball. And maybe I'm the only one noticing this, or maybe I'm tripping, but I have never seen so many home runs hit in a stretch of baseball games as I have over the last 5 to 6 games. It has literally been insane. 2 grand slams over the weekend. I think we had something like 15 home runs hit in total. Like, that is insane. Never in my life have I ever seen so many home runs. And they're not just like barely clearing the fence. They are getting jacked. right? Like they are out of here. Launch pad. See ya in the sky. Like they're gone. Of course, except for whenever Texas is trying to take a lead. Uh, who was it? Gage Harrelson, the center fielder for Texas Tech, robbed a 2-run homer off of, I believe it was Kimball Schuessler. I think that's who it was. Maybe I could be mistaken, but I want to say it was Kimball Schuessler who got robbed. Now we did end up hitting multiple home runs in the game, which eventually got us the win. Probably could have won by a couple more runs. I'll say right now, Texas Tech's fielding was actually pretty solid. Once the game started kind of getting tight and it was getting a little dicey, they started making some mental mistakes and throwing the ball away and making some bad throws. But their center fielder, Gage Harrelson, I think that was what his name was, played outstanding. And he batted really well, or at least decently. He was 1 for 3, had a run, had a hit. TJ Pompey coming in, smacking a home run. He was one of the solo homers after the brawl that ensued. And then right after him came Tracer Lopez. He came up and smacked a home run immediately after. Overall, it's hard to be upset, right? It's hard to be upset because we won. But it just doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel promising. It feels like we are having to claw and scratch and fight our way out of these games and into victories. And that's just not, I don't know. I feel like it's not something that we're really accustomed to seeing. I know that, Texas has a fancy for the dramatics, I should say. They love, and this is like across all sports for Texas sports. I don't understand why. Outside of like volleyball dominates everybody. Track and field dominates. Swimming dominates. Tennis dominates. But the major sports like football, baseball, basketball, it's like Texas loves to make these games as intense and close and heart-stopping and palpitating as possible, and it is annoying, right? We have a thrill for the dramatic endings, and Sunday was no different. It took us all game long. It looked really bad for a really long time. Texas Tech had a 4-run lead on us. Their pitching was doing really well. Their fielders were doing really well. It didn't look like Texas was going to be able to get back in the mix. Luckily, with the help of Peyton Powell, with the help of Max Bellew, with the help of Jack O'Dowd, we had some really, really good at-bats that drove in plenty of runs for us and ultimately got us the victory. But again, it's just going to be tough to continue winning games like that. Right? It's going to be tough when our offense does well, but we can't get off the field defensively, right? Tanner Witt sometimes Tanner looks so good. I can't lie. Sometimes I'm like, damn, that's the Tanner Witt that we saw in 2021, right? Yesterday was not one of those days. Yesterday, I was like, bro, what is going on right now? Tanner Witt ain't hitting over the plate. He did okay, right? He did decently. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and look at see if we can pull up his pitching stats right quick. He did okay. He gave up 3 runs on 3 hits again. He was replaced by Easton Tumis, who now is 2-0 on the season, freshman. He pitched really well. Obviously not perfect. Gave up a couple of runs, but he was serviceable. He did good. For a freshman, he's looked about as good as the rest of anybody else so far. Gage Boeing came in to close the game. Got himself the save at the end of the game. He looks really good. Also, I believe he's sophomore, junior, out of Taylor. Every time he's come in, he's looked pretty decent. Again, nothing dominant as of this point. We had who was the pitcher that came in? for like one inning. I think his last name was Loomis. Yeah, came in for one inning and just got blasted, or not even got blasted. Two 4-pitch walks in three. He had two 4-pitch walks in three batters, right? So he walked two of the first three batters that he faced, got one out, but just wasn't clicking for him. So had to get him up out of there. Will Gasparino went 1 for 5. Not his best day hitting the ball. Still had a great series overall. 6 of 14. That's over a 400 batting average. He started yesterday with, I believe he was 5 of 9 over the previous two games, which was over 500. He was batting something like 550, 570. Ended up 6 of 13, 6 of 14, something like that. Peyton Powell drove in 3 runs, continues to add to his RBI lead, which is him hitting the ball. He is such a good hitter. He does not swing at pitches outside the zone. He doesn't swing unless he feels like it's really close. And he swings at everything close, which I love to see. Too many times am I seeing batters go up to the plate and not swing at things that are close, right? They're taking strikeouts on inside corner pitches. Like, in my opinion, when you go up to bat, the idea is to swing the bat, right? You're not looking to be walked. You don't want to be walked. Now, if you are walked, that's great. Like, that's a bonus. But you should never go up to the bat. You should never go up to the box looking to walk. Put the bat on the ball, put it in play, and make a play, right? Force the defense to make a play. I thought we did a really good job of that towards the end of the game. Moving batters around, moving base runners around, got a few solid bunts in, playing small ball, typical Texas small ball, which I love to see. That's something that it's a staple of Texas baseball, is playing small ball, getting base runners around, and driving in runs. It took us a while to get in the groove, but we chipped away and we chipped away and we chipped away and we chipped away. And just like kind of what really Texas State did to us toward the end of the game on last Saturday, just chipped away until we got the lead, and then we were able to hold the lead and hold them to 0 runs for the final couple of innings. So we got a much needed conference series victory over Texas Tech. Again, they came into the series 11-1. Only one defeat, or 11-2. And they came in 11-3, if I'm not. No, they came in 11-2, if I'm not mistaken. So they are now 11-4, 12-4 after beating us one game. So listen, this is not the greatest start that we could have hoped for, right? We're 9-6 currently, I believe. Yeah, 9-6 after that victory. And it could be worse. Again, people have to remember that last year this team started off something like 4-8, okay, and still made the College Baseball World Series. So by no means are we in jeopardy of losing the season, if that makes sense. Again, 40 games left. There's no way you can sit here and say we're on the brink of losing a season with 40 games left to go. We haven't even played barely 20. We haven't even played 20. Haven't even played 20 games yet. So got more than over half the season still remaining. So with that being said, it's looking great for us so far. It's looking good. We just had to keep up this momentum and keep going with what we've been doing, and just, I mean, at the end of the day, our pitching is just, we've just got to see it improve. We have got to see the pitching improve over the course of the season, and I hope that we continue to see it. I think we see flashes of great pitching. I think we see flashes of solid pitching, but far too often are we seeing batting practice happen out there. And when a team is essentially going out there for batting practice, it can get ugly. It can get ugly really fast, and we've seen it get ugly for us. Texas Tech was one of the bigger challenges that we're going to face for some time. right? Coming up, we've got University Incarnate Word. That'll be tomorrow night at 6:30. And then this weekend, I'm personally going to be loving watching the series this weekend against the Washington Huskies. I know that it will not reconcile for Washington beating us in the college football playoff, but at least we can say we got them. I don't see us really having a problem with Washington. Now, to be fair, I haven't really watched their team too in depth. I'll probably go back and watch some of their games that they've had over the past few weeks, and just see what the team is looking like, see what they have to offer as far as pitching is concerned. Honestly, in my opinion, that's the only thing that really matters when we're looking at any of these teams. Teams at this point are being able to hit the ball. Hitting the ball is not an issue, right? For a lot of these teams that we've seen, the issue comes in who has the better pitching, and so far, a majority of the time, we've been able to come out on top with the better pitching staff. Hopefully, that continues. So yeah, we got a 3-game series this weekend against Washington. Before next week we take on Air Force, and the next weekend taking on Baylor. For our second conference series. So we got a good slate of games coming out. I would be surprised if Texas loses more than 2 games in this series, in this stretch of games coming up over the next 10 days or so. So hopefully we can just stay on track, continue to put the ball in the field, continue to hit well. These home runs are coming a dime a dozen all of a sudden, so hopefully we can continue to do well in that department. And we just, again, as the season progresses, we're going to see this team mature in real time. We're going to see them fight and scrap and learn how to win in real time. And I think that's something that they're starting to get used to. They're starting to learn how to win. That's what we need them to do. So as long as they continue on that front, which, again, I have full faith in David Pierce. I have full faith in how he operates this program. So I don't think that getting this team to groove and, getting them to understand what is at stake week in and week out is really going to be any problem for him. It's simply smoothing out the rough edges. We're into the regular season. We're only a couple weeks into it. Right, we're only a couple weeks into the season. There's still a lot of bumps that have got to be grooved out, and I fully expect that he's going to do that. So that's all I got for you as far as baseball is concerned. Again, tomorrow night we'll play UIW 6:30 p.m. We are going to be at home. We have another stretch of home games, insane. The next 6 games at least are going to be here at home at Dish Falk Field. So if you have the time, if you have a chance, I would highly suggest getting out there and going to catch one of these games. It has been beautiful weather, absolutely beautiful weather, save for one day this weekend. It's been beautiful weather. It's going to be beautiful out at the Dish. Sunny days, brisk, breezy, not too hot, not too cold. Perfect baseball weather. You gotta love it. There's nothing better. There's no better weather than what baseball weather has to offer us. That's 100% certain. But all right, that's all I've got for you as far as baseball is concerned. So now we're going to just switch over and talk a little bit about NFL free agency. If you did not know, the free agency window has opened up. This is the time where free agents can get signed, re-signed, players are re-signed, looking for extensions, looking for long-term deals, etc., etc. One of the biggest question marks for the Dallas Cowboys this offseason, outside of who are we going to get as a linebacker, because we definitely need one or a couple of them, what were we going to do about our running back position? For whatever reason, Tony Pollard is not looked at as an every down back and was not looked at as a feature back this past season. Now, I only say for whatever reason because I feel like people get a little bit greedy and what's the word? Greedy and it's just they expect too much. right? They're expecting unreasonable things out of some players. Tony Pollard had a 1,005-yard season this year. This is 1 year removed from having a compound fracture in which he broke his tibia and his fibula, right? A compound fracture. He had 1,000-yard seasons. He had 1,007 yards that year. Comes back, and while it wasn't an easy 1,000-yard season, and you didn't have the 35 or 40 explosive runs that he had of 10 or more yards, he still had over 20 runs of over 10 or more yards, had 1,005 yards on the season, scratched and clawed his way to 1,000 yards, but still broke the 1,000-yard barrier after coming off a major injury. If that is not a starting running back to you, I don't know. I don't know what is. I don't know what is. And I get that there's, free agents that are out on the market. There's the Derrick Henrys. There's the DeAndre Swifts, who is not actually on the market anymore. There's the Dalvin Cooks, et cetera, Saquon Barkley. But I think that we are just trying to get like the absolute best of everything and pay nobody anything and hope that we're going to make a Super Bowl run. We have the pieces in place for the most part. Dallas has the pieces in place to make Super Bowl runs. What it comes down to is this past season, we had no linebackers. Once Leighton Vander Esch went down, DeMarvion Overshown was also injured. Michael Parsons can't do everything. Dak Prescott can't play linebacker. And Marquise Bell was fit into our scheme as our middle linebacker at 6'2", 200 pounds? 205 pounds? We got obliterated at the line of scrimmage. As soon as Leighton Vander Esch was done for the season, we were just getting absolutely obliterated. That was the recipe to beat Dallas. And I said that, I think probably like the 4th or 5th week of the season. The recipe to beat Dallas, which San Francisco showed very early, was to run the football early and often and just don't stop. That's what Green Bay did, and that is why they beat the absolute shit out of us. Over 200 yards rushing, 48 points. Again, I get that Dak didn't help the situation, but Dak ain't out there playing defense, right? So to get rid of a running back who had broke the 1,000-yard barrier on the season after splitting reps and being injured the season prior, a devastating injury, I think they're making the wrong moves. I think they're worried about the wrong things, right? If we're going to release linebackers or release people who can't stay on the field or who are injured all the time. Rigo Dowdle could go. Sorry, he was a great backup, serviceable backup, but unnecessary. Don't need him. Leighton Vander Esch at this point, I'm sorry, bro. See ya. Like, I love Leighton Vander Esch as a linebacker. I thought he had high potential, but if you're going to be like Tyron Smith without the accolades and you're just injured perennially and we cannot expect you to be on the field for more than 6 to 7 games a year, then what are you there for? Get him out. Get him gone. You know what I'm saying? There are places on this roster where we could free up space and keep players like Tony Pollard, who was a major contributor to the offense and still was an explosive piece to the offense. But we need to hone in and focus on what our real underlying issues are, and that is linebacker and interior defensive line. You don't have to be a genius to see that. When you watch Dallas's film from last season, they got pushed around on the interior line. When teams got up to the second level, to our linebackers, see ya. Like they were getting manhandled because they're small. They're not linebackers. That's why they're safeties playing linebacker. At least if you're going to be Marquise Bell, you're going to be 6'2" and want to play middle linebacker, you're going to have to put on about 30 pounds at least. You got to get up to 235, 240, 250, something like that. At this day and age, that's just what it requires. And be able to run still. So it'll be interesting to see how we address our needs in the draft. With the release of Tony Pollard and Dallas not taking big swings after running backs like Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, I have a feeling that we are going to go to the draft for a running back. Whether you agree with it or not, I feel like that is the direction that Dallas is probably going to go. My fingers are crossed that if that is the direction we go, Jonathan Brooks is still available. I don't care. I'm not even being a Texas homer, right? The kid, the way he runs the football it's a beautiful thing. He's got great balance. He's got great contact balance. He's got great vision, speed, burst, agility, everything. Anything you want in a running back, Jonathan Brooks has got it. So that's going to be the only running back that I'm like, if he's available, I hope to God that Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones takes their head out of their asses and does something that is productive for the damn franchise. That's all I'm asking for. I think that's all anybody is asking for at this point. Just do something that is actually productive for the gosh damn franchise. We go 2 steps back and 4 steps, or 2 steps forward and 4 steps backwards every year. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of seeing it. The fact that I've had to watch the damn Detroit Lions play in the NFC Championship game before I've seen Dallas play in the NFC Championship game is completely asinine. It's crazy. It's insane. And I get that that's kind of the way Jerry has built it. Jerry has built Dallas to be a spectacle, to be an amusement park, an amusement team, rather than to win Super Bowls. And unfortunately, that's just a reality of being a Dallas Cowboys fan that we have to accept. As long as Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are living and breathing Dallas Cowboy air, they are going to stifle the franchise. We are going to have to win in spite of them, not because of them, if that makes sense. So, other news. With that being said, actually, so we released Tony Pollard. He is gone. He signed a 3-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. Now, does that mean that Derrick Henry's out with Tennessee? Tony Pollard steps in. Now they got Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard, 2 really quick dynamic backs that can catch out of the backfield. They're not big bruisers who can throw defenders off of you like ragdolls like Derrick Henry is. Derrick Henry is obviously only, 28, 29 years old. He's got a lot of gas left in the tank. So I have no doubt that he's going to find a place. If Dallas picks him up, I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. To say that I wouldn't be all for Derrick Henry, it would be a complete lie and it would be crazy. Like, who wouldn't want Derrick Henry on their team? But I haven't heard or seen Dallas make a push for him. So who knows what is in store in that regard. We'll see. It's going to come out over the next few days, over the next few weeks, and then as the draft comes up, we'll see how Dallas is going to address the needs that the team has. But for right now, like the way it's starting, I'm not liking the way it's starting. We've already released Tyron Smith. Again, makes no sense in my opinion. The dude hasn't given up one sack since 2016, and I get that he's been injured, but every time he comes back into the rotation, he is dominant. He's the best left tackle in the game when he's healthy. It's just about getting him healthy. And, I still think that letting him go is a bad idea. We know that tackles are hard to find, especially really good ones. He is a great one. He is a legendary tackle for the Dallas franchise. And I think it was a mistake letting him go. We'll have to see, right? We'll have to see what happens there. In other news, Philly released DeAndre Swift, who did sign a 3-year, $24.5 million deal with the Bears. Another interesting team. What's going to happen with Justin Fields there? Jerry Jeudy was released from Denver. He is now signed with the Cleveland Browns. Good for him. Denver is just a cesspool of mediocrity and shit now. Since Peyton Manning's been gone, that team sucked. That franchise, that organization sucks. They have not done anything to improve anything about their team. They just suck, period. So, honestly, I'm glad Russell Wilson got out of there because they sucked the life out of Russell Wilson. Like, they didn't even look like the same player on the field. We've watched Russell Wilson play for a decade now. That did not look like Russell Wilson at all last year. maybe that's an organizational thing. Maybe that's a Russell Wilson thing. I guess we'll find out now that we know that Russell is signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He took himself a 1-year player-friendly or team-friendly deal, in which Denver will be paying $38 million of Russell Wilson's salary. So good for you, Denver. You have no quarterback, and you're paying to not have a quarterback. It's great management skills. There's a lot of moves going on around the NFL. A lot of things happening in real time. The Colts signed Michael Pittman, finalized the deal for $72 million contract. $70 million contract. Deion Dawkins back with the Bills, $60.5 million contract extension. There's a lot of things going on. Mac Jones, the Mac attack, baby. Shipped down from New England to Jacksonville. Originally from Jacksonville. That'll be interesting for him to see whether he gets to split reps or whether he gets a chance to even compete with Trevor Lawrence. In my opinion, Trevor Lawrence kind of has that position. I wouldn't say it's in the bag, but I don't see any reason to take it away from him. I definitely don't see any reason to take it away from him and give it to Mac Jones. There's that. Baker Mayfield getting himself a deal with the Bucs, which good for him. He literally was on the cusp of having his career end, like a flash in the pan, but did a great job, revived his career in Tampa Bay, and got himself a pretty nice deal as well. So, again, a lot of moves happening. There's going to be a lot of dynamics going on as far as NFL and college football are concerned. So, we're going to definitely be trying our best here to keep you up to date with all of that stuff as it comes out. Again, we're going to get into talking about the Texas roster and the Texas Longhorns roster, I should say, football roster, and some of the major changes that have happened there, as far as like players and gaining weight and, hitting the weight room, getting a full offseason under their belt now, especially as spring football is coming up. I believe they start spring practices on the 19th of March, so only 8 days until that. And then, of course, only 30 days from there, we'll have the orange-white spring game. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of information to divulge to you guys, and we will definitely be keeping you in the loop. But for now, that is all I've got for you today. Got some NFL news in. Just wanted to recap the baseball series, the weekend for baseball, and what we have coming up over the next few days and the next, several games. And we'll be coming back and keeping you updated. But for now, y'all go out and enjoy the rest of this beautiful Monday afternoon. It is 60 degrees and sunny outside. Got to get outside and enjoy it while you can. I certainly am going to, as well as, stay up to date and keeping myself informed so that I can keep you informed with what is going on around football. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate you all for watching. I appreciate you for engaging. If you enjoyed the stream, just do me a favor. Smack a like on the screen. Drop me a comment. Leave me some suggestions on what y'all want to hear about. Is there anything specifically that y'all would like for me to talk to you about? Anything you want me to bring more information on? I certainly am willing to do that. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, so that way you never miss anything we got coming for you. Because remember, no matter where you look, there's no better place than MoBetta Sports for your latest football takes. I'm Antonio, a.k.a. Mr. MoBetta, and I am out. Peace and hook 'em. Y'all have a great day.